Your
Honor, first of all, I want to raise an issue with you, and I think it's
Why don't
really...
we
No, I don't want to go to the sidebar. I really don't want to go to the sidebar.
I need to know what you're going to talk about before.
I want to tell you that they got picked up on a hot mic saying, shut her up during the playing of that autopsy.
All right.
This is not like Handmaid's Tales where you're going to tape them out.
So I'm not doing that at all. I just want to find out what the issue is. There's a lot of privileged issues, and then you can tell me that, and then All right, ready for the jury? Yeah.
Can I keep looking? Judge.
Court, all rise. Jurors entering. This court's now in session. Please be seated.
Your Honor, for the purpose of the record, we return back to the trial of Commonwealth versus Lindsay Clancy. All parties are present, including the defendant and including the 18 jurors.
All right, Ms. Reddington.
I think it's page 63. I'm pretty sure.
My note.
Yes, I believe.
No.
Look for it. But you know what? Yeah, but this we don't have to worry about it. Doctor, you'd agree with me that your notes are contained in Exhibit 79, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And one of the things that you had mentioned is that at the end of Lindsay's treatment at your hospital, she was discharged, ultimately, correct?
Yes.
And that was not against medical advice, was it?
No.
And finally, you had made reference to the fact that postpartum psychosis is a serious consideration for you when you or your staff when you're evaluating a patient in McLean, correct? For
Yes.
postpartum. And one of the recommendations that you made was that she should follow up with other healthcare providers. And if I understand correctly, she actually sent a text or an email or something and confirmed that she did within the hour, right?
She made an appointment with Dr. Tufts for the next morning.
Right, and she told you guys that, right?
She told the social worker that.
So she was very responsive to your advice about you should reach out to your provider, and she did that, right?
Yes.
That's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Counsel, redirect.
Dr. Goodhart, you're familiar with the discharge paperwork that a patient gets, right?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as Exhibit 146.
Yes.
Is that familiar to you?
Yes.
And you know that to be discharge paperwork for, or what's called the after visit summary for Lindsay Clancy at her stay from McLean, correct?
Yes.
And in this discharge paperwork, there's actually two packets. So it's pages 1 of 6, and then there's another one of 7. You see that?
Yes.
And it gives instructions on if you need immediate help. It gives phone numbers, right?
Yes.
It gives a crisis plan and where to call for the suicide prevention lifeline, right?
Yes.
It gives instructions on what the patient's supposed to do or what you've talked about as far as what to do as follow-up, right?
Yes.
And in this instance, it says, what's next? Call Cassandra Wolfson. Give her a call for assistance with finding community behavioral health providers. And that's identified as the Blue Cross Blue Shield case manager, right?
Yes.
And was that based on a conversation that you had with Ms. Clancy about the fact that she wanted a new provider?
She had a psychiatrist or a prescriber. She stated that she was going to be assigned a therapist by the individuals at the South Shore. And if she wanted to have more options or more choices, she could always call that person to get more choices.
So she was looking for an additional provider?
Yeah.
Okay. And also part of this discharge packet, you see that there's a section that's labeled community services, right?
Yes.
And there are a number of online resources, as well as the direction to contact your primary care physician and insurance company, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so these are resources that were discussed and told and available to her when she was discharged from McLean.
Yes.
Now, in addition to the resources that were given at discharge, you're aware she did participate in particular groups that would have given her some information and skills while she was there, right?
Yes.
And those skills were about illness and symptom management, correct?
Yes.
Self-compassion was another one, right?
Yes.
I'm going to object. This is beyond the scope of cross, which is, I think, a legitimate objection. So,
All right. Sustained.
Counsel on cross-examination kept referring to this, the unit at McLean as the locked unit, right? You
Yes.
remember that line of questioning? And fair to say it is locked for the safety of the patients, right?
Yes.
And in this circumstance with Ms. Clancy, when she arrived from Mass General via ambulance, she voluntarily agreed to be at this locked facility until it was safe for her to leave.
Yes.
Now, when she came in, she was identified, I think you said, as low risk
Yes.
and at the lowest level of checks, correct?
Yes.
And she was very vocal with you about how long she wanted to stay and when she wanted to leave.
Yes.
And you respected that and you worked with her to come up with a plan, correct?
Yes.
And when counsel says she wasn't discharged against medical advice, would you have preferred more time with this patient to assess her symptomology?
objection.
Overruled.
I think you're asking me to go back and do.
Well, at the time, let's talk about the time that you had the conversation with her about leaving
Yes.
early.
Yes.
You said her original plan was to stay till at least Friday, right?
I think I didn't have a set time on when she would leave. I take it a day at a time based on how the patient is doing.
And at the time that she indicated that she wanted to bump up her discharge to Thursday,
Yes.
had you had the opportunity to observe her symptoms for more than a day or two?
Yes.
Had you been able to identify if any of the issues that she came in with were resolved?
Yes.
And so she was sleeping better, right?
Yes.
Was there any indication that her mood had vastly improved?
Her mood had improved. I don't know what you mean by vastly.
Well, did you have enough time to get to the root causes of why she was having the insomnia or why she was feeling numb?
No.
Okay, and so with more time, would that have been something that you could have explored more at least?
Yes.
And you were asked on cross-examination about asking Lindsay Clancy to sign releases, and you said that you did not do that in this case, correct?
Yes.
With more time with a particular patient, is it possible that you could have determined that you needed that more information and then asked her to sign releases?
Objection.
Sustained.
Well, as far as your protocol for asking for releases, is it something that you do with every patient?
No.
What are the circumstances that would lead you to ask for releases to be signed?
Again, it's outside the scope of cross objection.
No, overall, I'll allow that.
It depends on how the patient is presenting, whether they appear they appear reliable, whether their history that they're giving is consistent across different times when they were evaluated. For example, she was evaluated in the emergency department in the CEC, then on the unit by Dr. Madwa and myself. And also we had obtained collateral information from Patrick. And so I didn't feel like there was any urgent need to obtain the collateral from the other providers, and she was telling us what she liked and what she disliked about what the providers were doing.
Okay, and so you were responding to those conversations in
Yes.
coming up with a plan.
Yes,
And again, the team is not just you and your team, but also the patient as well.
yes,
And during this time period that she was there, in addition to what she was reporting, you were also making observations of her.
absolutely.
And was there anything inconsistent about what she was reporting to what your observations of her were?
No,
When she arrived at McLean, you were advised of what medication she had been on, correct?
yes,
And any of the treatment plans that you or any of your colleagues recommended, did they require different medications?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
Well, you were asked about the blood work.
Yes,
And so you indicated that McLean does draw blood upon admission, right?
Yes.
But that you did not look at the blood work or ask or evaluate it for levels of medications.
correct.
Was there any reason to do that based on the medication regimen that you were advised that she had been on?
No,
And with your treatment plan as far as medication, would there have been a reason to do that to either verify or not verify that she already had things in her system?
no,
You were asked on cross-examination about the defendant reporting that she complained of brain fog or being foggy. Do you recall that?
yes,
Do you also recall that she was observed by nurses to have improved memory and improved concentration, over the time that she had been at McLean?
yes,
You were asked on cross-examination about suicide hotline. And
Yes.
Are you familiar with suicide hotlines?
yes.
And what do they assess for when you call one?
Like risk, and if somebody's calling and they're feeling suicidal, I think the point is for them to send somebody or to help them through it.
So it's a point of intervention, correct?
Correct.
But in order for a person to receive intervention, they have to identify that they have an intent or a plan.
Yes,
And to your knowledge, based on your experience and your conversations with this particular patient, did she ever indicate that she ever said she had a plan?
no,
You were asked some questions about the DSM-5, and I actually have a big version of the most recent version, the DSM-5 TR, meaning text revision. You're familiar with this book?
thank you for clarifying that. Yes,
And counsel asked you some questions about postpartum depression and postpartum psychosis and whether they appear here in the DSM-5.
Yes.
Recall that line of questioning? And fair to say they do appear. They're not their own category, correct?
yes,
But they do appear in conversation of bipolar disorder 1, having major depressive symptoms or episodes, as well as psychosis.
yes,
And it's very brief mention, but it's in here. Is that correct?
yes,
And as a psychiatrist, this is just a tool that you could use.
yes.
What other things do you rely upon when making a diagnosis other than a tool like this?
Observation of the patient, the history that they're relating, the information from family, and other, that's essentially it, and other records if available.
Okay, and you use that information based on your own training and experience
Yes.
to come up with a diagnosis.
Yes,
And your diagnosis, does that have to agree with anyone else?
no,
And when you're treating a patient that comes before you for help at McLean, are you treating the patient in front of you, or are you treating the patient from several months ago.
You take the history into consideration, but you're treating the patient in front of you because that's the presentation.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
All right, Mr. Reddington?
No, thank you. Thank you, Doctor.
All right,
Thank you.
Doctor.
Thank you.
Commonwealth calls Dr. Jennifer Tufts.
Good afternoon. Can you stop right here and raise your right hand to the clerk, please?
Good afternoon. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony and the evidence you shall give to the court and the jury and I now coming between the Commonwealth and the defendant bar shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you, ma'am. You may have a seat.
Watch your stuff there.
All right, good afternoon, Doctor.
Good afternoon.
I'd ask you to keep your voice up and speak into that microphone, all right?
Okay.
Counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon. Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Jennifer Tufts, JENNIFERTUFTS.
Your date of birth.
December 31st, 1989.
Where do you work?
Astor Mental Health
And how long have you worked there?
for 3.5 years.
What is your role there?
I'm a psychiatrist.
And how long have you been a psychiatrist?
I've been officially fully licensed psychiatrist for close to 4 years.
I want to ask you if you could just explain to us your educational background and your training background that qualifies you to be a psychiatrist.
Absolutely. So I went to medical school at University of Vermont, graduated in 2018 with an MD. I did a postgraduate training in psychiatry at Boston Medical Center. That was 4 years, going into 2022. And then I began working at Astor Mental Health in 2022.
And are you a licensed psychiatrist in Massachusetts?
Yes.
While you were working at Astor Mental Health, did you have a patient named Lindsay Clancy?
Yes.
And at this time, Your Honor, I'd move to submit the records of Lindsay Clancy for Astor Mental Health as the next exhibit.
Okay, they may be admitted.
Do you recall when you first saw Lindsay Clancy as a patient?
Yes.
When was that?
It was in September of 2022.
And was that first appointment on September 15th, 2022?
I believe that it was.
And prior to a patient coming in for their first appointment, is there paperwork that they fill out, either online or that's provided to them to fill out?
Yes.
And what type of paperwork is that?
It's fairly extensive. It includes past health history, past psychiatric history, medications they have taken in the past. It includes names of any therapists or other doctors they work with, usually primary care. It includes any report of substances that they may use or may have used in the past. It includes a number of scales, so scales assessing things like anxiety, depression, ADHD. So it's a fairly lengthy document.
Are you aware that Lindsay Clancy filled out those documents on September 12th, 2022, 3 days prior to her first appointment?
Yes.
And did you have an opportunity to review what Lindsay filled out prior to meeting with her for that first appointment?
Yes.
Okay. And do you recall what you learned from those documents about her prior mental health treatment?
Yes.
What was that?
That she had previously taken some medication. I believe it was in nursing school. It may have been fairly brief, but she had tried the medication Prozac.
Do you recall that she also listed that she had tried Wellbutrin as well while she was on the Prozac?
That was listed as well.
Okay. And do you recall that when she listed that she took the Prozac and the Wellbutrin while in nursing school, she listed that she had no side effects from those medications?
That is correct.
Prozac, is that an SSRI?
Yes.
Okay. So Lindsay reported that she had previously taken an SSRI while in nursing school with no side effects, correct?
Correct.
Did she also report that she had no history of any kind of abuse that had occurred to her at any point in her life?
Correct.
What did she report in regards to alcohol consumption?
I believe she reported 1 to 2 drinks at a time, and possibly up to 5 times a week.
And is there a portion when the patient fills that in, how much they drink? Is there a question there about whether they feel guilty about that?
Yes.
And what was her response?
Am I allowed to go check that just to make sure?
Is there an objection to her reviewing the records?
Yes. She indicated yes.
And so in that section, is it correct that she listed that she was drinking 5 times per week and feeling guilty at that time about it?
Yes.
And did she list her height as 5'6" in those documents? I believe on the same page, page 20.
Yes.
Now, did that initial survey or questionnaire that she filled out get into what symptoms she was experiencing at the time?
Yes.
And what symptoms did she report experiencing at that time?
Anxiety attacks, decreased appetite, depressed mood, easily distracted, excessive worry, guilt, unable to feel pleasure, unable to fall asleep, and racing thoughts.
And would it be fair to say that there's a checklist of symptoms and the patient checks off which ones they're experiencing, correct?
Yes.
And so on that list, engage in risky behaviors, that was not checked off, correct?
Correct.
And excessive energy wasn't checked off, correct?
Correct.
Feelings of hopelessness, feelings of abandonment, feelings of emptiness, none of those were checked off, correct?
Correct.
Impulsive behavior, that was not checked off, correct?
Correct.
Now, was there also a suicide risk assessment form that Ms. Clancy filled out?
Yes.
And what is a suicide risk assessment?
Well, it assesses various factors that may increase a person's risk of committing suicide.
And the form that Ms. Clancy filled out, the first question is, have you been so distressed you seriously wish to end your life? And her response was no, correct?
I'm just looking.
Page 23.
Correct.
And the second question is, has anything happened recently to make you feel you don't want to live? And her answer was no, correct?
Correct.
There's question 3, a specific plan. Do you have a specific plan of how you would kill yourself? And her answer was no, correct?
Correct.
4th question is access to weapons or means of hurting yourself, and the answer is no, correct?
Correct.
The 5th question is made a serious suicide attempt, and the answer was no, correct?
Correct.
The 6th question, purposely done something to hurt yourself. Again, no, correct?
Correct.
7th question, heard voices telling you to hurt yourself. Her answer was no, correct?
Correct.
Number 9, having thoughts of killing or seriously hurting someone else. The answer was no, correct?
Correct.
Number 10, heard voices telling you to hurt others. The answer was no, correct?
Correct.
Hurt someone or destroy property on purpose. The answer was no, correct?
Correct.
In fact, the answers to every question on this suicide checklist was no, correct?
Correct.
Was there also a substance use assessment form that was filled out on page 24?
Yes.
And there were no issues with substance use, correct?
Correct.
Is there also an ADHD self-report scale that's filled out?
There usually is.
Direct you to page 25.
Okay.
And ADHD, is that attention deficit hyperactive disorder?
Yes.
Okay. And given the answers that Ms. Clancy gave on that self-reporting form, were there any concerns about attention deficit hyperactive disorder?
Not significantly.
Were there any concerns at all?
Well, she reported often to some of the questions. Yes.
And is that significant to you based on your training and experience?
You have to look at this form within the entire picture of the patient. So no, I didn't suspect that Lindsay had ADHD.
So these forms are a tool, and you use them together along with your observations of the patient to come to conclusions. Is that correct?
Yes.
There was also I believe it's entitled a GAD screening. Is that generalized anxiety disorder?
Yes.
Okay, and did Ms. Clancy fill that out as well?
Mm-hmm.
Page 27.
Sorry, my pages are a little bit different than yours.
Oh, I apologize.
I'll find it. Okay.
Ms. Clancy's answers to these questions, did they give you cause for concern based on your training and experience?
They were highly suggestive of anxiety and an anxiety disorder.
And for example, number 1, feeling nervous, anxious, or on edge, she responded nearly every day, correct?
Correct.
Not being able to stop or control worrying, she answered nearly every day, correct?
Yes.
And so several of these questions were either nearly every day or several days, correct?
Yes.
I apologize. Can I just ask what days that are?
27, I'm sorry. And then is there also a patient questionnaire that the patient fills out? I think it's...
yes, I believe so. Yes.
And what is the purpose of this patient questionnaire?
I'm not sure exactly which one you're referring to. It might be the one that asks about things like whether the symptoms affect their daily living, what their history is. Is that what you're looking at?
It's entitled Tools-PHQ-9 Patient Questionnaire. And the date is 9/12.
Maybe you want to go over and show her.
Are you able to? Thank you.
Yes. So this form that's entitled PHQ-9 Patient Questionnaire, what is the purpose of that form?
It's a screening tool for depression.
Okay. And can you talk about the defendant's answers to those questions and what they told you based on your training and experience?
Well, some of the answers were positive, so that really indicates that she should be assessed for depression. She might have it.
Okay. And when you say positive, what do you mean by positive?
So, for example, she said for number 2, feeling down, depressed, and hopeless more than half of the days, a positive response means indicating yes.
So it's not a positive, happy response. It's a positive, this might be an issue response.
Yes.
And on the next form, A1, initial diagnostic assessment.
Yes.
There is a place there, again, well, this is for September 15th, the day you actually met her, correct?
Yes.
So the patient fills out the forms in advance of meeting with you. Do they then again fill out the forms when they meet with you?
No, these are the same forms.
Same forms, just the different date on them?
Yes, because they're included in the intake note, which is what I write, but some of the information is from the patient's self-report.
Okay. So would it be a combination of the forms they fill out and then what you observe and ask about during your initial meeting?
Yes.
And that initial meeting with Ms. Clancy, was that in person or was that a telehealth?
Telehealth.
Okay. Does who controls whether it's an in-person meeting or a telehealth? You or the patient?
Both.
Both. And if a patient told you, I don't want to do telehealth, I only want to do in person, is that an option?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
I'll let that stand.
And can you just tell us when you met with Ms. Clancy on that first day, did you ask her questions such as, do you have suicidal intent?
Yes.
What was her response?
That she did not.
Did you ask her if she had homicidal intent?
Yes.
What was her response?
That she did not.
Did you ask her if she was experiencing any auditory hallucinations or visual hallucinations?
Yes.
What was her response?
She did not.
Did you ask her questions to determine if she was experiencing any symptoms of mania?
Yes.
What types of questions you asked to determine that?
Well, a lot of it can be assessed without asking, but questions may look like, have you ever had a period of time in your life where you were excessively energetic and euphoric? I might leave it there and then follow up with some of the other symptoms.
Did any of the questions you asked Ms. Clancy related to mania or manic episodes, did any of her answers to those questions indicate that she had experienced mania or manic episodes?
No.
Now, in that first meeting, what's your exam process? Like, how do you start the meeting and how does it flow?
Sure. So I start the meeting by introducing myself, explaining what we're going to be doing for the day. Then I ask the patient why they're there. We talk about why they're there. I assess for different mood symptoms, anxiety symptoms, psychosis symptoms, mania symptoms, safety concerns. Then we start talking about the history. We start talking about the past psychiatric history, the past medical history, substance use. We start talking about other medicines that they have tried in the past or may still be taking. taking. And it's not always in that order, but that's the general order. Sometimes things come up sooner. And we talk a bit about what the patient's goals are, what they're looking for in this time period, and then I may give some of my recommendations.
And did you follow that process for that initial meeting with Lindsay Clancy?
Yes.
Now, you mentioned that you part of the initial evaluation is looking for signs of psychosis. Is that correct?
Yes.
What types of things are you looking for to see if someone's experiencing psychosis?
So there are a number of things. They start with how the patient appears. So some signs of psychosis might be that they appear disheveled. I assess what their attitude is, if they might be agitated or very uncooperative. That's a red flag. I will assess what their speech is like. Is it very loud? Is it very fast? Or sometimes it could be the opposite, where they're not really even speaking at all. I assess what their mood is like, what they're saying that they're feeling, and how they appear visually. I assess what their thoughts are like. So are their thoughts disorganized, where it's really hard to understand? They're jumping around and you can't follow their line of thought. I assess what the thought content is. If it's particularly about anything very bizarre or very paranoid, that would be potentially indicative of psychosis.
And you conducted that type of evaluation on Lindsay Clancy in that first meeting, is that correct?
Yes, that assessment is done with every patient.
And did you note any signs or symptoms of psychosis with Ms. Clancy that day?
No.
Do you also, in addition to the observations you're making of the patient that day, are you also asking questions about their past behavior and things that have happened to them in the past that might indicate whether psychosis is an issue?
Yes.
And what types of things are you asking them about their past?
Well, I may ask, have you ever heard voices? Have you ever seen something that other people didn't see?
And did you ask those questions of Ms. Clancy?
I believe I did.
And what was her response?
No.
Do you, and as part of this evaluation, are you making an assessment about the patient's judgment and insight?
Yes.
And when we talk about psychiatry, what are we talking about when we say judgment?
So judgment indicates their decision-making process, and whether it is a logical decision-making process or perhaps not.
And same question in terms of insight. What does that mean in psychiatry when you're assessing their insight?
So that's more about a patient's awareness, both of their inner feelings as well as mental health a bit more broadly.
And in terms of orientation, when you're assessing a patient, what does that mean?
Orientation is awareness of where someone is, who someone is, what day it is, what's going on.
And based on your evaluation of Lindsay Clancy that first day, September 15, 2022, did she appear to have any issues with judgment, insight, or orientation?
No.
Do you also assess the patient's memory?
Yes.
And how do you do that?
Well, it depends. Often, unless there is a specific concern about memory or dementia, it's based off of my conversation with them. Are they able to recall medications that they have taken? Are they able to recall, things that they have done with a lot of detail and specificity?
And did there appear to be any issues with Lindsay Clancy's memory in your evaluation of her?
No.
And what about attention and concentration? What are you looking for as a psychiatrist when evaluating attention and concentration?
I'm looking for whether they're paying attention to the conversation, if they can follow it, or maybe if they get distracted, it seems like they're not listening, something like that.
Did Lindsay Clancy appear to have any issues with attention or concentration?
No.
There was something in the records called fund of knowledge. What does that mean?
Basis of knowledge, what someone understands about the world. So maybe if somebody has a very low education, they might have a low fund of knowledge.
And was there any issue with Lindsay Clancy's fund of knowledge?
No.
Are you also assessing mood?
Yes.
And how do you assess the mood of a patient, and why do you assess it?
Well, it's very important. The mood is based on what the patient says, what they say about how they're feeling.
Okay. And so are there circumstances where a patient might say they're feeling happy, but you make observations that they appear depressed?
Yes.
Okay. And so when we see mood in the records, that refers to how the patient is reporting their mood is?
Yes.
So if it says appropriate mood and affect, or actually if it says patient description of their emotional state, it says okay, does that mean the patient said okay?
Yes.
Is there a place in the record where you describe what your observations of the mood are?
That's the affect.
Affect, okay. And so affect is how the patient presents?
Yes.
This first meeting with Lindsay, what was her mood?
It was okay.
And what was her affect?
Anxious.
So she was reporting to you, she felt okay. You were seeing she looked a little anxious.
Yes.
How do you, or what is it about a person that tells you they look anxious? Like, what were you seeing with Lindsay Clancy that told you she looked anxious?
It's hard to recall exactly what she seemed like. Sometimes, a person might look anxious by...
Sometimes, Your Honor.
All right, sustain.
In your general observations of patients, what things would you look for in a patient to determine whether their affect is anxious?
Is their voice quivering? Are they shaking a little bit? Do they appear very nervous?
And what is psychomotor behavior?
So psychomotor behavior refers to someone's body and their movements. So sometimes that can be abnormal.
Okay. And did you notice anything abnormal about Lindsay Clancy's psychomotor behavior?
No.
This first meeting, was that approximately 40 minutes?
It was a little bit longer than that, maybe 50 to 60 minutes.
Is that typical for that first meeting where you're doing this initial assessment?
Yes.
And did she appear alone in that virtual meeting, or was she with anyone?
Alone.
And what are treatment modality and interventions in general?
So that section is referring to therapy treatment modalities. It's not asking about medications. So different forms of therapy that might be done in a session.
And what would be treatment goals?
Goals that we are working on or will plan to work on, since this is only the first visit.
So how do you determine for an individual patient the treatment modality or interventions that are needed?
It depends on the patient.
So basically on what you're seeing, what you're hearing, and the history they provide?
Yes.
And how do you determine treatment goals?
So a lot of that is driven by what the patient's goals are.
And you mentioned earlier that as part of your evaluation, you asked the patient why they've come to you, what they're concerned about. Do you recall Lindsay's response to that question, why she was there, what she was concerned about?
I believe her biggest concern was about anxiety.
And what was the treatment modality or interventions that you determined would be needed for Lindsay Clancy based on this initial evaluation?
So I recommended a medication sertraline as well as individual therapy.
And the medication sertraline, is that Zoloft?
Yes.
Okay. And when you say you recommended that the Zoloft to her, was that you telling her you have to take this medication, or did you have a discussion about it?
A discussion.
And during that discussion, did you get the patient, Ms. Clancy's, input on whether she wanted to take the medication or what her thoughts were about the medication?
Yes.
And do you recall the details of that conversation with her?
I recall that she was generally reluctant to take medications, but at this point she was considering it and was interested in learning about what medications might be helpful for her.
And as part of that discussion, did you explain what the medication was and the side effects and all of that?
Yes.
And did she have any questions for you based on your explanation of what the medication was for and what the side effects could be?
I'm not sure.
And why did you recommend that particular medication?
So it's a first-line medication used for treating anxiety disorders. It also is a first-line treatment when women are breastfeeding. It's the safest SSRI for babies.
And when you say a first-line medication, what does that mean?
It just means it's one of the medications that is recommended first. Sometimes you have to try a number of different medications, but that is often a first choice.
And is that based on studies and the experience of the psychiatric profession?
Yes.
What was the dosage that you recommended or prescribed for her for the Zoloft?
25 milligrams.
And were there instructions on the prescription in terms of how many milligrams to take the first week and then how many to take the second week?
Yes, it was 25 milligrams for 1 week and then increasing to 50 milligrams.
And that was your initial prescription and what should have been on the pill bottle, correct?
Yes.
Was there ever a call from the defendant where she called you and said that she was having trouble with the 25 milligrams and you recommended her go to the 50 milligrams?
No.
You said you also recommended therapy, is that correct?
Yes.
And Astra Mental Health, did they have therapists on staff that you referred Ms. Clancy to?
Yes.
And do you know if she took advantage of that resource?
She did.
Do you know which therapist she saw?
Yes.
Who was that?
Jennifer McAllister.
And how does it work when a patient is at Astra Mental Health, they're being seen by a psychiatrist, they're being seen by a therapist? Is there someone that's kind of in charge of the treatment of the patient that oversees everything, or is it all just individual?
The psychiatrist is in charge.
Okay. So you would have been in charge of Ms. Clancy's treatment?
Yes.
And as part of being in charge of her treatment, would you review the records from her therapy sessions to inform and guide your treatment of her?
Yes.
What were the treatment goals for the defendant?
I don't recall exactly what her words were.
Would the goals be what your patient tells you?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to approach and just ask that you look at page 41 of the records for Exhibit 219 to the treatment goals section. Does that refresh your memory?
Yes.
And what were the treatment goals according to Ms. Clancy?
So these are not her words. There's a list in the electronic medical record where I can indicate which ones might apply, or I can type out my own. So the treatment goals based on what we had decided on together were symptom reduction and improved functioning.
And you said that Ms. Clancy had been a little reluctant about starting medication. Did she tell you why she was reluctant?
Yes.
And why was that?
She was worried about having side effects.
And did she mention which specific side effects or just side effects in general?
I thought it was in general.
And as a result of that concern, is that when you went over the potential side effects of Zoloft?
Yes.
And after having that discussion and you explaining the side effects of Zoloft, how did the two of you leave it in terms of whether she was going to take the medication or not?
I told her what my recommendation was, that she should start the sertraline. I'm not sure if she told me definitively if she was going to take it or not. She might have needed some time to think about it.
And based on your evaluation with Ms. Clancy, everything you learned about her history and how she presented that day, did you have an initial diagnosis?
Yes.
And what was that?
It was a generalized anxiety disorder, and it was an adjustment disorder with depressed mood.
What is generalized anxiety disorder?
It's an anxiety disorder where an individual may have a lot of different worries. They may also have physical feelings of anxiety, but they're worried about a lot of things, not really just one thing specifically.
And what is adjustment disorder with depressed mood?
So adjustment disorder refers to the fact that there may be symptoms, but they are kind of secondary to the situation. So they don't meet the full criteria, say, of a major depressive disorder, but there were some symptoms of depression.
Is this a good place
Yes.
to start? All right. Members of the jury, this is, it's 1 o'clock. We're going to take the afternoon recess. I'm going to ask you to be ready to come back at 2 o'clock. And again, same instructions and orders. Don't, during the break, don't read anything about this case or similar cases. Don't do any research. Don't talk about this. Just kind of relax as best you can for the next hour. We'll have to bring it back in. We'll continue with the evidence this afternoon. Okay?
Court, all rise.